Friends, welcome to electronics classes conducted by Vvsm Academy, a School of Arts and Science. Discovery of diodes and triodes. Triodes are also called as transistors. What is a diode, my dear friends? The diode has two terminals. A circuit element encourages current to flow in only one direction. Very important thing. Diode encourages the current to flow only in one direction. Very important. The filament itself may be the cathode, or more commonly as shown here, used to heat a separate metal tube which serves as a cathode. See here, this is a cathode. This is a symbol represented by diode. This, unlike the transistor, which has three terminals, the three terminals, that's why it's called triode. In the transistor, current can flow in more than one direction. It varies more than one direction. Well, both diodes and transistors modulate current direction and voltage. Modulate, varies, changes the direction of electric current is very important. In both the cases, diodes and transistors modulate current direction and voltage. Of course, in diodes it is only a single direction or monodirection or unidirection or only one direction. But in triodes, it changes more than one direction, forward, backward, or in another terminal. Well, friends, let us discuss about the history of the development of origin of diodes. Austro-Hungarian Julius Edgar Lilienfeld, physicist and an electrical engineer who was eradicated with the first patent on the field effect transistor, FET, field effect transistor. The abbreviation stands for FAT. It is a general knowledge question for the electronic students. FAT, abbreviated for field effect transistor. Because of his failure to publish articles in learned journals and because of high purity semiconductor materials were not available or not found on those days yet, his FET patent never achieved fame, causing confusion for later inventors. A transistor is a semiconductor device used to amplify or switch electronic signals and electrical power. Transistors are one of the basic building blocks of modern electronics. It is composed of semiconductor material, usually with at least three terminals for connection to an external circuit. A voltage or a current applied to one pair of transistor terminals control the current through another pair of transistor terminals. Because the controlled output power can be higher than the controlling input power, a transistor can amplify a signal. Today, some transistors are packaged individually. Many more are found embedded in the integrated circuit. Embedding is nothing but integrated circuits. So these are the history and the discovery, and is proposed so many things in 1947 by American physicists John Bardeen and Walter Brattain while working under William Shockley at Bell Labs. The three shared in 1956 Nobel Prize in Physics for their achievement. The most widely used transistor is a MOSFET, metal oxide semiconductor field effective transistor. Again, a general knowledge question. For the abbreviation stands for MOSFET, capital letters. MOSFET is nothing but the metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor. It is also known as MOS transistor, which has invented by Mohammad Atallah with Dawan Gahan at Bell's laboratory in 1959. It is a modern physics. The MOSFET was the first truly compact to revolutionize the field of electronics and paved the way for smaller and cheaper radios, calculators, milestones in electronics. You see, the MOSFET is the fundamental building block of modern electronics, were manufactured between 1960 to 2018. Till today, at least 99% of all transistors making the MOSFET and from germanium, but certain other semiconductor materials are sometimes used. A transistor may have only one kind of a charge carrier in a field effect transistor, or may have two kinds of charged carriers in bipolar junction transistor devices. Compared with the vacuum tube, transistors are generally smaller and require less power to operate. Certain vacuum tubes have advantages over transistors as very high operating frequencies or high operating voltages. Many types of transistors are made to standardized specifications by multiple manufacturers. So this is Ferdinand Braun, 1850 to 1918, discovered the semiconductor diode in 1874. German physicist Ferdinand Braun, a 24-year-old graduate of the University of Berlin, studied the characteristics of electrolytes and crystals that conduct electricity at Würzburg University. In 1874, while probing galena crystals, that is lead sulfide, with the point of a thin metal wire, he noted the current flowed freely in one direction only. Braun had discovered the electrical rectification effect that takes place at the point of contact between metals and certain crystals materials. Braun demonstrated this semiconductor device at Leipzig in, say, 1876, but it found no useful application until the advent of radio, the early 1900s. This is a German physicist, Ferdinand Braun, working in his electronics laboratory. Herbert Franz Machre, 1912 to 2011, German physicist and co-inventor of the French transistor in 1948. In 1950, he independently invented a point contact transistors in June 1948. This is all the discovery of the transistors, my dear friends. This is the photo from left: John Badin, William Shockey, and Walter Brattain, the inventors of the transistor in 1948. This is one of the series of publicity photos produced by Bell Labs around the time of the public announcement of the invention, June 30, 1948. Although Shockey was not involved in the invention and has never been listed on the patent applications, Bell Labs decided that Shockey must appear on all publicity photos along with the Badin and Brattain. The semiconductor diode. See if it's constructed current rectifier using selenium in United States circa 1886. These things we will discuss in the next forthcoming classes, my dear friends, along with the great scientist from India, Jagdish Chandra Bose, a professor of physics in Calcutta, India.